Shalom, everyone, and welcome to TorahTrue.com, Relatable Torah. I'm your host, Rabbi Ben-Tzion Saloff, and this is the first in a series based on the book Tzavat Haribash, literally the testament of the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem. Now, did the Baal Shem Tov write a testament? Did he write a last will and testament? No, he didn't, as a matter of fact. However, he and his students taught the foundational principles upon which Chassidut is based and flowers from, and they are contained within this book. Now, the book, by the way, is available both in Hebrew and in English. Now, they are both available through Kehat Publications, Kehet Publications. So I encourage you, if you're going to be following along, that it would be useful if you did get a hold of either or both of them. But that's up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I'm a very big proponent of the importance of understanding teachings. More so than being able to learn and read Hebrew. Learning and reading Hebrew and understanding it are wonderful because it is the language in which the language of creation, the language through which Hashem created the universe. However, by the same token, there is something very, very important and deep about understanding these types of teachings. When I say it's something deep, I know that's maybe an overused word, but I mean it in the sense that if you reflect deeply on these concepts and you relate them to the different aspects of your life and your service of Hashem and your interaction with others, they can change you, and they will change you for the better, to an increasingly great extent. I've experienced this, and many people whom I've learned with have experienced this. So that really is the testament. That is the will, what has been given over by the Baal Shem Tov and his students. So we'll begin. Also, there is an email address which, anytime you have any questions or suggestions, comments, you can contact me at relatabletorah at gmail.com. That's RELATABLE Torah, TORAH, at gmail.com. And I will try to get back to you as soon as I'm able. Also, I will take some of the questions that are asked on these emails, and I will put them together into a video. It will be anonymous, so I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but I will mention the question and will provide answers on those questions which I feel would be useful and interesting to a more general audience. So now we're going to get going. It's the beginning of the book. It says Tzava Meribash, Alav Shalom. The testament from Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem. Lihiyot tamim be'avodato yitbarach. That you should be. Now, tamim is a very interesting word, but we're going to translate it in multiple ways. Tamim means complete, but it also means has an expression of tamimut, which is honesty, straightforwardness, if that's a word, straightforwardness. But tamimut is a very important thing. So he's saying your service of Hashem, your service of God, should be complete, but it should also be straightforward and honest. Avodat Tama, it should be a complete service. That's a very interesting thing to think about, because avodah, the word avodah, although it means service, it means work, it refers specifically and to the service of prayer, because the service of prayer was given to us and is required from us, so to speak, instead of the offerings that were offered in the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, which is not extant at the moment. So avodah tama, we should make our service of Hashem, our prayer to Hashem, tama, complete. Meaning, it would seem to me that our service of Hashem, our prayer, must be from the heart. Like it says in the Zohar, there's a confrontation. I don't know if that's the word, but there is a discussion in the Zohar that is recorded between God and Moshe Rabbeinu, called in the Zohar Raya Mehemna, the faithful shepherd. Now that conversation, basically, Moshe Rabbeinu says to Hashem, let me see, maybe I'll just read it. Here we go. I have it up here. It says, Kam Rai Mahamna, so the faithful shepherd got up, Vishtatach kamikuchabrichu uvacha, and he prostrated himself before the Holy One, blessed be He, and he said, Kein yehe ravagile diachshiv li kavar. Thus should it be your will that you will consider me as a son. Now, he's talking to Hashem, Kuchabrichu, the Holy One, blessed be He, but he's also referring, as you'll see momentarily, to Shchinte, his divine presence. The Kuchabrichu is the masculine expression of God, and Shchinte, his divine presence, is the feminine aspect of divinity, of God. Now, the Zohar is largely metaphoric, and it speaks of God as being the male and the Shekhinah as being the female, but obviously this is metaphoric for the masculine and the feminine aspects of God. So, Dovadin dili legabe kuchabrichu ushchinte yehon legabe kivra dishtadal bahon vasara voevime. So that you should consider my service for kuchabrichu and his shchina should be that towards them I strive like I'm striving for my father and my mother. So he's saying to Hashem, I'm not only serving you as my God, I am serving you in a very deep and a very personal manner, a deep and personal manner. You are my father and my mother. De rachim lon yaser migarme v'nafshe, that I love you more than my body, my soul, ruchev nishmase, my ruach, my neshama, all the different levels of the soul he's enumerating. Umad dehavale havachashiv lo na'ayin, and I know that everything I have, all of my possessions, they're really considered as naught. They're considered as really nothing, except lemebad bahon ru'usei daba v'ima ulemifrak lon bahon. But what can they be used for? They can be used to serve my father and my mother, the desires or will of my father and my mother, and to redeem them through them, to redeem them through it, meaning my possessions. Redeem. This is something we're going to talk about at another time. But redeem Hashem and the Shekhinah through our possessions, through what it is we do. Very important concept. The Afal Gav the Adana the Chola B'Reshusei. And even though I know that everything is really in your Reshus, everything's yours anyway. So what do I have to give you? Rachmana libaboy. But what I know is that you, the All-Merciful One, you want my heart. You want my passion. You want my heart in serving you. So everything that I do to serve Hashem in this world must be done in a way, Rachmana libaboy, that the All-Merciful One wants my focus, my heart. He wants my passion in serving Him. But and when Hashem heard this, he came. He was deeply affected, even though it doesn't use that wording. But lechora, so to speak, he was deeply affected. And he came, and he kissed him. He kissed Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, what does it mean, kiss? Obviously, Hashem doesn't have a mouth with which to kiss, but it is metaphoric for he gave him over sublime revelations of wisdom, of godly wisdom. Ve'omar, and he said to him, Raya Mehemna, faithful shepherd, my faithful servant, Vadai, antu Bradi liv di Shchinta. Of course you are a son to me and to the Shechina. Rabbanun Malachim Nashku Gvar. So then God said to the masters of all the great heavenly academies, and to all the Malachim, all the angels, whether they be temporary, momentary, or permanent angels, he said to them, Nashkuvar, you should kiss the Son. Meaning, give over sublime revelations to Moshe Rabbeinu. Kulhu, kamu kulhu v'nashkule. So they all came and they kissed him. V'kabilule l'rav u'malkalayu, and they all accepted him as their master and as their teacher. Now, there's obviously a lot of metaphor and a lot of depth to that teaching, but the bottom line is very simple. The one of the most important aspects, if not the most important aspect of our serving Hashem, of our doing the will of the Creator of the heavens and the earth and us and everything within it, and of time and of space and all dimensions therein, is Rachmana libaboy, that the All-Merciful One, who is this Creator, He wants our heart. He wants our passion in serving Him. So this is what we were talking about before, avoda tama. It should be a complete service. So this service of Hashem, whatever we do for Hashem, it should be an avoda tama. It should be a service which is complete, and which is honest, and which is straightforward, and which is from the heart. We continue. The ikar shelo lishkoach hadvarim, and he uses the word ve'ikar, and it's meaning it's an essential point. It's an essential point that we don't forget things, and obviously this is referring to things or matters relating to Torah and mitzvos. If we learn something in Torah, we should review it again so that we don't chas v'sholom forget it, because everything in Torah, remember, the Torah is an expression that a human being can relate to on some level of the divine wisdom. Now, the divine wisdom is way beyond anything that we look at as wisdom, and it's only called by that name in order that we can relate to it on some level and in some way. However, we can latch on to that divine wisdom through learning Torah. Now, ikar, shelo lishkoach hadvarim, it's an essential thing that we should not forget any of these things, meaning we should reflect on them deeply, the things that we learn, and relate them to things within ourselves, and experiences we have and ways in which we interact with people, etc., in order that we can raise up our physical being, raise up the physical being of our environment, and that we and in order to avoid that we would ever chas v'sholem forget these things, because then we would be wasting a tremendous present that has been given to us by God. The ikar, and then it goes on and says, and it's also another essential point, an essential thing, lilmod b'chol yom shir musar hein rav v'hein ma'at. And it is an essential point that we need every day, even a little bit, a lot, depending upon your life situation, your ability to learn. But honestly, by the way, everybody, no matter, you don't have to know a word of Hebrew. Whatever language you speak, there is plenty of Torah with good explanation in it available in any language. Now, it's a wonderful thing to be able to learn Hebrew and to understand the Torah in the language in which it was written, but it's not the essence. It is important. It's nice. It's wonderful, and I'm very happy that I'm able to do so. However, it is more important to understand. As a side note, as a sidebar, I have a friend who also teaches a great deal of Torah over the internet, Rabbi Ariel Bar Tzadok. In any case, Rabbi Bar Tzadok teaches Gemara, and among other things, and among many other things, but he likes to use, when he's teaching English-speaking students, he likes to use the Art Scroll Gemaras. Now, there are some rabbis who are against using the Art Scroll Gemara because you're not going to learn the language, the Aramaic, the Hebrew involved. But as Rabbi Bar Tzadok believes, and as I believe as well, what's more important than understanding the Hebrew and the Aramaic is understanding the flow, understanding the ideas, the arguments, the way in which these things are expressed, because it is through that you're going to be able to access, I think, to a very great degree, the wisdom contained therein. And there's unbelievable, tremendous wisdom involved in the Talmud, or contained within the Talmud. And this is the way that if you learn the Talmud, an English-speaking person learns the Talmud through the Art Scroll Gemaras, they will be learning and they pay attention, obviously, to what they're learning. They will be gaining much, much more than if they first try to learn the Hebrew and the Aramaic, which can be a daunting task at the very least. Okay, we're going to continue. Okay. So let me finish that verse. The ikar limod b'chol yom shir musar hein rav v'hein mat. So it is an essential principle that you learn every day, whether it be a small amount or a large amount, a measure of musar, of ethical teachings. Now, there was a movement called the Musar movement years ago, and some of the seminal works of the Musar movement were from Rabbi Bachya Chavot Halavavot, which is a very important work. I personally like Shar HaBetachon the best from that sefer, which means the gate of trust in God. There's also Reshit Chachma. There's also Shnei Luchot Habrit, otherwise called the Shla, and there are many other Sfarim in that particular genre. But the Baal Shem Tov is speaking about that genre, and I would say, even though it's not written here, so you can take it for what you wish to take it with, but I think that also would include Chassidut, would include Chasidis, as we say with the Yiddish expression. Chasidis is Musar in a positive vein, in a more positive vein. See, that's the difference I find between Musar and Chassidus. Musar is very important, by the way, and it comes from a very holy place. However, there are two different ways of approaching any subject, any topic, anything, and one is a positive one, and one is a negative one. Now, negative isn't necessarily bad. I'm just saying positive and negative. What do I mean? I know this is going to sound maybe like a silly example, but I'm going to give you an example. I at one point was now, because the person who usually did it in the shul that I was in at the time, somebody would announce the Tehillim, the Psalms that were to be said that day, right at the very end of davening. And it's a custom in many synagogues, especially in Chabad synagogues, that you say a few chapters of Tehillim towards the end of davening. And I was asked to announce which chapters of Tehillim to say for that day. So I got up one day and I said, okay, don't forget to say Tehillim, and the chapters for today are blah 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 blah. So afterwards, the Rabbi of that synagogue came up to me, and he said, Rabbi Saloff, it would be better if you were to announce it in a different way. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you said don't forget to, which is a negative. You are saying a negative, which would reinforce a negative within the congregation, so to speak. Maybe in only a subtle way, but it would. Instead, you just say, today's Tehillim is or are such and such and such and such. So always propose something or say something in a positive way, not in a negative way. You can say the same thing, you can accomplish the same thing, or communicate the same information in a positive way in almost any situation, as opposed to a negative way. However, when you do it in a positive way, you are giving greater strength and what's the word I'm thinking of? You are strengthening the positive, as opposed to saying it the same thing but in a negative way. You are actually, even though it's not your intention, you're strengthening the negative. Just something to think about. Okay, now, so you should learn these ethical teachings every single day. A little bit, a lot, whatever it works for you, but it's important. And then we go on. V'lirot et atzmo, and you have to see yourself tamid, all the time, l'dabek et atzmo b'midot tovot v'hanhagot yesharot. That you're always binding yourself to good personal attributes and upright conduct. So you should always focus in everything that you think, say, and do on a positive development and positive conduct, especially as it relates, obviously, to others. V'shelo yaniach shum yom me'asiyat mitzvah hein kala hein chamora. And you should not allow a day to go by without the accomplishment of a mitzvah, whether it be a light one or a heavy one, meaning one that would seem seemingly unimportant or of lesser importance, and one of greater, seemingly greater importance. The simancha. And so, how do we know this? What points to this that we should say this? Heve zahir. There's a pasuk which says, a verse which says, Heve zahir b'mitzvah kala ki v'chamara. You should be careful. Zahir. We're going to be using a little play of words here. should be careful with a mitzvah kala, a seemingly unimportant mitzvah, as we would with a seemingly heavy mitzvah. Perush zahir. So the what is the meaning of this word zahir in this context? Which it could mean, and it does mean, be careful, but it has another meaning. It means zahir milashon ve'amaskili miashiru, and it also has the meaning that, as in another verse, which says that they that are wise will shine, will yashiru, they will shine, they will glow. Rotze lomar hanashama tazhir v'ta'ir mitzvah kala kevachamora, that your neshama, your soul within you, illuminates, it shines with a light mitzvah as it does with a heavy mitzvah. Meaning, a mitzvah may seem to you to be very, very almost insignificant. Chas v'shalom. I don't even like to say that. However, but as would a seemingly great and tremendous mitzvah, but any mitzvah that you do illuminates. It has a tremendous illuminating effect. Ki, and here it goes again, that verse that we were talking about earlier in the class. Ki rachmana libaboy. Because what does the merciful one, the all-merciful one, want? He wants your heart. He wants your passion. So you come and you do his will, whether it be in a seemingly, light way, a seemingly heavy way, whatever it is. If you come and you do Hashem's will with your heart, to do as the creator of the universe, the all-merciful one, wants from you, and you do his will, it creates a tremendous illumination in you, in your environment, and in those with whom you come in contact. So now that was the end of Aleph, and since we're coming towards the end of the scheduled time of this class, we're going to end it here for the moment, but I will tell you, please, if you enjoy these classes, if you enjoy if you enjoy this type of learning, please, down there, I believe it is, you press the subscribe button, and any time that TorahTrue.com puts up a new class, which will be pretty often, you'll get a notification. So at first we're just going to be working on this series, and soon we will be starting other series as well. And so there's going to be a lot available, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing from you. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, I'm very happy to hear from you. Once again, I am Ben-Tzion Saloff, your host, and anything you can think of that would make the Torah that you learn more relatable, let me know. All the very best, shalom and blessing.